Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson and Jim Jonas with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today, we're going to have Nichol Zamora. And the reason why I'm pointing at you because it went blank. Nichol Zamora, she's going to be talking about setting the record straight. We had Oliver Bueno, who came on the program. Wow. How long has it been?
It's been a while.
About 2 years?
2 years at least, yeah.
And about 2 years, you would think?
Maybe. I just was seeing it last year.
Oh, maybe it probably was last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was 2 years.
Yeah.
And he was talking about his family court incident, and now we have Nichol, his ex, that's going to talk about some things that she alleges that wasn't true. But before we get to that, how you been, Jim?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Just a lot of just working.
Any rants?
Yeah, just a small one. I just think it's funny that Sisolak says that he's going to that they're going to impose fines on the Trump campaign for holding their rallies. And like I was telling you before the show, like, well, you can do whatever he wants, but the campaign's not going to pay it anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think
they charge Ahern $3,000. At least the city of Henderson did,
yeah,
for holding that rally that wasn't social distancing and masks. Right. Well, there was some people in there with masks.
There was a few, yeah.
But it wasn't so much of a social distancing. But you know, this whole COVID thing, man, I don't know what's going on. There's so many conspiracy theories about it. It's just ridiculous. But it is what it is. And I've had some people that passed away.
Yeah.
They say from it. And I've known some people that has been sick from it.
Yeah.
So do I wear masks all the time? No.
Yeah.
You know, and they also said that if you're O positive or if you're O blood type, then you're less likely to catch it. So I'm glad I'm O positive, by the way. So anything happens to me, anybody out there with O positive blood, just give it to me. But so that's about it with that.
Yeah. That's one of those things that's just been beaten to death. I think at this point, I'm pretty sure most people have made up their minds. Yeah. Like, hardcore Trump supporters are always going to support him, I think, unless something just horrible happened, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's not even worth the time. I'd rather spend it on the guess.
But I get that, but I just have to bring this up. People are so radical, left or right side.
That's true.
You know, you say that, hey, I'm a Trump supporter. Oh my God, you're going to get your head taken off. Or you say, I love that Joe Biden. Oh my God, then you get knocked out. You know, either way, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I'm just going to tell people I'm just going to vote for Mickey Mouse as a write-in ballot president. Right. But, you know, it's going to be surprising because there's a lot of people out there that don't want to voice their opinion.
Right.
With whatever side. And this election is going to surprise a lot of people out there. So be prepared.
Yeah.
And I don't think it matters what direction this country goes, if it goes D or R. I am sure that there's going to be some type of outrage either way.
Sure. Yeah.
And people are going to take to the streets. So, you know, part of me saying that this country is going to come to a revolution very soon.
Yeah.
You know? And just don't come in my neighborhood because we're ready. So, but I want to talk about a guest we had on, I believe it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We had Janniece Anderson, and she came on the program, and she was talking about that George Maloof might be or she was saying George Maloof is the baby's father. And of course, George Maloof's folks got involved,
Yeah.
and they asked for a retraction, which we don't do, because we're not the ones that are making the alleged comments. It's the guests that are making the comments. All we do is facilitate.
Right.
You know, just like any news people out there. But we did get the DNA, and the DNA shows that George Maloof is not the father to Janniece Anderson. But Janniece Anderson still standing her ground, and she believes that George Maloof is the father. Remember, she made a comment about how it took Maloof and his attorney 2 hours to leave the doctor's office, and what's going on in those 2 hours. So she still believes it. We don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care if George Maloof is the baby daddy. We don't care if Frank Sinatra is the baby daddy, although he probably was there a long time before this girl was born. We don't care, you know. But all we do care is that we put accurate information out there, and we let both sides have their time getting that information out. And you, public, then you could believe what you want to believe. So we're trying to be fair as possible. Hence today. You know. So with that, we're gonna go to Nichol Zamora, and we're gonna let her do a little talking and get a little bio from you. Nichol, thank you for coming on the program.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Love your tats, girl.
Thank
Because
you.
I got a little bit of my own going on
Thank
here.
you.
know,
I love art.
love tats.
Yes.
But I just don't like those sharp instruments they put into you called
You know
needles.
what? I love tattoos, and then when I go to give blood, I'm like, oh my God, hurry up and go quick.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Folks, we're back again. This is Steve Sands and Jim Jonas for Veterans in Politics. We had some technical difficulties. We have Nichol Zamora. She is on the program to set the record straight. We had Oliver Bueno, who is her the father of her child, on about a year and a half ago, and she is claiming that some information that he provided was untruthful, and she wants to be able to say her side of what happened. So, Nichol, how you doing, man?
I'm amazing.
Tell us a little bit about you, since we kind of lost you in transition that last time.
I am the mother of two amazing daughters,
Okay.
a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old. I've lived in Las Vegas for about 20 years now. I run a nonprofit for kids with autism.
Okay. That's honorable, by the way.
Thank you. I enjoy it. It's really my passion to give back to the community.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's get right to it. What did Oliver Bueno say on our show that you believe was untruthful?
Well, me and my fiance watched the segment again last night, and I couldn't find anything that was honest in that segment.
He said the whole show was a lie.
I mean, if you're sitting here fidgeting and you can't, I'm the kind of person, if you ask me a question, like, let me give you the answer.
Okay.
He damn near danced around every question that you guys asked, and
Okay.
I have a problem. I have a lot of single fathers in my family, and I'm all for families being reunited, the kids having both parents in their lives. I have a problem with somebody crying poor me to everybody that will listen, and it's not the truth.
So let me, I know he went to prison.
Okay.
Okay. And I forget what he did while he was in prison for.
Oh, he didn't say.
But
So let me set the record straight on
All
that.
right, tell us.
He held me hostage at gunpoint after he beat me in front of my children.
Yes. I can't
So-
even.
The police the police came in and they just arrested me because I have a bad record. No, that's not true.
How long was he in prison for?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So he was found guilty amongst his peers.
The police did not just walk in and take him because, you look gang related and you have a bad history. No, I called 911. I was hiding in the restroom with my children.
Okay.
I had rope burns on my neck. He
Rope
had positions
burns.
of the gun. My children were crying.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, they just took me and I went to prison. No, there was a lot of probable cause.
So if if he, well, according to the law, he did do that. He was
Right.
convicted. Okay.
He was convicted.
Why do you think he would come on our program, and why would he want to draw any attention to himself?
That's just the nature of him and his wife. They, don't get me wrong, and I've told both of them this, they could be amazing people. They do a lot in the community. Good for you guys. Don't bash me and don't downplay what me and my children have been through.
Okay.
And of course, people are going to say, well, do you have children? Oh, I miss my children. I love my children. You don't.
Were you guys ever married?
We were never married.
Never married.
We were, as he mentioned, that was a true statement. We did get together. We were both drug addictions. We battled through that, gang life. We went through the alcoholism. I stopped before he did when I had my children. He wasn't ready to stop. I kept allowing him back in. Very domestic, toxic relationship until, I was in the restroom with my children after they had a gun pointed at them as well, squeezing on from their lives.
So you're saying that he had a weapon pointed at his own children as well?
Oh, yeah.
How old were the children at the time?
2 and 4. My children
2 and 4
were sleeping. He came home drunk. He wanted the keys and money, and usually I give it to him. That was love to me when I was young, and I thought that's all I could do for my life. So I would give it to him. So then when he came in, he wanted the car keys. No, I got to work in the morning.
Right.
Give me money. No, I need to pay rent for our apartment in the morning.
Right.
So then, he got violent, woke up my children. My children came running when they heard him and me wrestling, pushing the children off. That was the child abuse. Then he
Well, any act of violence in front of minors, it would be
endangerment.
considered child abuse.
Yeah.
CPS would get involved. So CPS was involved.
Yeah, they came. He was trying to get the purse. He was pushing me around. My children woke up, jumping on him. There was freaking blood everywhere. I had, and
Whose blood?
It was mine.
Okay.
When you grow up in a neighborhood, and in the gang life, you're raised to never call the police.
So both of you were affiliated with some type of gang. Which one were you affiliated with?
I hung out a lot with his friends.
Which one was he affiliated with?
I chose not to put the name on. I mean, that's in both of our past.
Right. How long ago this whole incident took place?
About 13 years ago.
13 years.
So he went to jail.
More like prison, right?
I went to prison. I dropped a lot of the charges. I was
Why?
I was traumatized.
Okay.
This happened.
Did you go to counseling?
I did. Me and my children. This happened at 3 a.m, Steve. I was up with my children at 6 going to work.
Okay.
So I didn't see. I just, let's go past it. Let's keep moving. I didn't slow down and realize my children needed something more until my daughter's at preschool coloring a red paper. And when the teacher asks her, what is that? And she says, that's mom's blood. So that's when it's like, no, it's enough. I'm going to put them in therapy. I'm going to go to therapy. They were both diagnosed with the post-stress disorder. And when he got out, everybody changes. You were addicted to drugs. They found drugs on you that night. You were drunk. You had a couple years to sober up. So you know what? Let's go ahead. You could see the children.
Okay.
We were great with it. My fiance was with me at the time. It was amazing for the first couple weeks until he went back in the same pattern.
Okay.
The drinking, the alcohol. And at that point, I seen the red flags. It's done.
So he had a criminal past prior to the DV. And what was the charges prior?
And like I said, I'm all about facts.
Okay.
He has possession of guns. He has DUIs. He has deadly weapons. He has child endangerment, preventing a witness to testify, concealing a concealed weapon. So those are pretty concerning crimes. They're not speeding tickets.
Okay. So I take it you have full custody.
I do.
Legal, sole,
Yes. Legal and sole.
physical?
Legal and physical sole custody.
Does he see his child? How many? He has the 2. Does he see any of the? How old are children now, by the way?
14 and 16. My children.
When's the last time
he's
he's seen his children?
He's seen his children last year.
Last year.
Last year, yeah. Oh, the 2012 statement is full of crap. He has seen the children. He did see my children in 2018. I met with his wife, Tina, to discuss some issues I was having with one of my daughters. I felt horrible. I tried to get them involved, like maybe we could all grow up and do some things together to make these children's lives a little bit easier. And that night, they came over and they got to see my children in front of my house. My husband's very open to that. As long as the kids are safe, he could see them. So they came by, and 2 days later, everything that I opened up to Tina about.
Tina is his
wife.
His wife, yeah.
Everything I opened up, we had a 2-hour conversation. Like, hey, I'm struggling with one of my kids' behaviors.
Right.
Let's try to co-parent. Let's put all this stuff behind us and move forward.
Right. He's an ordained minister now, isn't
He is.
And so is she, right?
Yeah.
His wife.
Yeah. Everything I opened up to them, CPS,
used against you?
CPS was at my door 2 days later.
Okay. So.
And it was a, anonymous caller.
Of course.
Of course. But the funny thing is God works in mysterious ways.
Yes, he does.
And what goes on in the dark always comes out to the light. So for whatever reason, when I got my letter from CPS that my case was closed because I'm a phenomenal mother, Oliver got a letter in the mail from CPS. And they messed up and put my address.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
He hasn't been on any of my children's paperwork in over 20 years. Over 15 years. So how would they have his name?
I just want to make sure that I ask all the right questions. Do you believe he's changed or no?
I believe he has changed to some degree.
Okay.
But when you cry that you can't see your children and the courts want me to pay an X amount of money.
Does he pay child support?
He does pay child support. I'll give him that. He does.
On time?
The last 2-3 years, absolutely. Before that, good faith payments, $40, $50 a month. It is what it is. Like I said, do I believe he changed? Yeah. But all you had to do was go to therapy. It's harder.
Did he go to therapy or did he have it in prison?
No.
How do you know he didn't have therapy?
Well, in prison, I don't know. But Judge Harder wanted him to go to a therapist and do the reunification. So, which is great. And Oliver says, well, they cost so much money. I talked with all 3 of them yesterday. You called once. And you found out what the payment was. It is expensive. It's a lot of work. Therapy's not cheap.
Right.
But the way I also see it is if you could keep catching these DUI cases and pay your cash bail every other year, you should be able to pay for your kids' therapy.
Did he take a paternity test for any of the children?
No, both the children are his. He signed the affidavit of paternity.
Okay. Did you ever say that any of the children wasn't his at any time, like his daughter was not his? Did you ever say that?
So that wasn't addressed on his segment, and I don't want to address my daughter's personal business.
The reason why I'm bringing it up is because it was mentioned. So.
But not on his segment.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my biggest thing is don't come on here crying wolf that you can't afford to see your children, you can't afford to pay your child support, and that's why Harder's doing it. But you could afford to pay DUI cases. So
you're saying both of the children is his?
He's fighting for both of his children, yes.
Okay. Okay. And the reason why I'm coming back to is because he's saying that that you mentioned that one was not his.
But that's irrelevant at this point. You weren't saying that when you were on here crying that you wanted to see both your children. Why bring it up now?
Okay. And does he pay medical, dental, and all that?
He does.
Okay. Do you think that, is there anything that would allow him, that would stop him from seeing his children? Because basically, you're saying that he hasn't seen his children since when?
He's seen them last year.
Last year? Mm-hmm. Shit, if I don't see my daughter every day, I'm losing my mind.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Would you call your daughter for her birthday?
Absolutely.
His daughter's birthday was 2 days ago. No contact. No card, no nothing.
And he knows the phone number.
Oh, yeah, he should. Yeah.
Does your daughter...
So what pisses me off is having to hear my children cry. I don't care about your poor me. I don't get to see my kids. You're full of shit. That's what you are. You cry to anybody, and your tears don't mean nothing. What means something to me is my children who go to therapy, who ask for counseling to try to mediate. Me and him can't rock together. That's fine. Go to the therapist. Go to a therapeutic session and figure out how you guys can all reunite, get your emotions across together, and let's move forward. You live 5 minutes away from me.
Okay. Does he express that he wants to see his children or no?
Words and actions are two different things to me. So when you say it, it doesn't mean nothing. But when you call my children's therapist drunk, demanding to see my children to the point where she feels it's...
How you know he was intoxicated?
Oh, the slurring? I'm hoping he was intoxicated. Because if he was sober, talking to a medical professional like that, and
Is that what she told you?
Oh yeah, she also wrote a letter about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, everything that I say, Steve, I'm not just, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. This is what's going on. I have the black and white proof of it.
And you had Mary Perry as your...
I did.
So funny, Mary Perry doesn't believe women are victim of domestic violence.
Yeah, I found that interesting.
That's really an oxymoron when I read that, because on many cases she believes women self-inflict.
Well, maybe her seeing the photos of me bloody with my children changed her mind.
She's seen photos of victims and she says self-inflicted.
I don't want to steer it onto it's Harder's fault. It's Mary Perry didn't do a good job or anything. Like the fact is you're coming on here saying, poor me, I don't get to see my children. It's not the case. It's poor my children who keep trying every year to get along with you and to build something with you, and you tear them down continuously.
As a mother, do you encourage your children to see their father?
I
or
do.
To reach out to them?
I do, and you know what, Steve? I want to say every other night, I feel like a piece of crap.
Why?
Because I'm encouraging my children to talk to somebody that's toxic.
Yeah, I get that.
So how many children do you have?
4.
4. So let's just say, God forbid, knock on wood, it never happens. You and your wife split up.
There's 3 different mamas.
Oh, well, hey. So I'm sure you know the stress in which.
So I've had to split up already. Right.
So when he first got out of prison, his amazing wife, that's great. When they first got together, she was in the middle of a DUI cover-up story. She schooled police. They had a big house party. Her now son-in-law was drinking and driving at the party underage, all Clark County School District employees.
Let me ask you something.
He left and killed somebody.
Let me ask you something. And I'm playing devil's advocate because I like to be balanced and fair. You mentioned when I was talking about, have you ever said that his daughter wasn't his? You said that, hey, I don't want to talk about that because that wasn't brought up when he was talking. You know,
Okay.
Was what you're saying right now, was this brought up when he was on?
Well, yeah, it's a point of why would I give you my children?
Because I don't remember him mentioning
why would he?
Okay. So with all fairness, if
it's a character analogy.
If you're going to bring this up that wasn't talked about when Oliver was on, it's not fair when I ask you the question about your daughter, you don't want to bring it up.
Well, no, he said,
Oliver didn't mention it. Remember you said that?
Yeah, no, I know I said that.
So I want to play fair. So we're going to have to talk about your daughter if you talk about this.
How can you process that if he said she wouldn't let me see my child? I didn't let you see my child because she just got accused of killing somebody. So why would I give you my child when she's accused of that and you just got out of prison?
Oh, you're talking about his wife?
Yeah. So why would I hand over my children?
What do you mean she was accused of killing somebody?
Well, that's what I was trying to tell you. And you were like, oh, well, let's wait a minute.
Yeah, but because I want to talk about the daughter now if we're going to talk about that.
No, this is why I didn't give him my children when he got out of prison.
Gotcha.
She had a party. She's school police dispatch. She had a party with underage drinkers. Her daughter and the boyfriend were there. She let these kids drink.
How old were they?
18.
Okay.
The boyfriend left, drunk driving, and killed somebody. A 21-year-old.
21?
21-year-old girl that was graduating from UNLV.
Okay.
You took somebody else's child, so why would I let you drive with my child?
A 21-year-old is an adult. In fact, when I was 17, I thought I was an adult. So
But it's
anything
somebody's,
I did,
that was somebody's daughter.
Still an adult. You're still an adult. I'm sure when you're 21, you would say, I'm an adult, don't tell me what to do. Still an adult. So if somebody came to my house and they're 21 years old.
No, he wasn't 21, Steve. The girl he killed was 21.
Was he driving?
Yeah.
Oh,
18 years old, drinking and driving at the party.
Ah, that's different. I thought they left the party and they were driving.
They were drinking and driving at the party.
Okay.
Left, and he killed somebody's 21-year-old daughter.
Okay.
So I don't care if it's an adult, an elderly person, a mother, a brother, a sister. That's somebody's child. Right. Somebody's only child.
Was he ever convicted of that?
Oh yeah. And then the court's taxpayers had to pay $700,000 to settle the lawsuit because they found out Clark County School District was indeed covering the situation up.
You have proof of that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And it's all over the internet, and that's another reason why he wasn't able to see my children. Why would I allow you guys to be around my children?
So, well, at the same hand, when you say it's my children, it's actually his children.
He didn't raise my children. Too. They are my children.
But it's...
You're a sperm donor. I'm grateful for that.
You had two with him, not just one.
And I'll always be thankful for that.
Okay.
There will always be, and I could be woman enough to say, you know what, Oliver? I wish you and your wife the best.
Right.
You guys do amazing things in the community.
Okay.
But when it comes to me and you, you're the same person. You're not putting my children first.
And you know something? And statistically proven, it's damaging when a child doesn't have both parents in their life. Psychologically damaging.
Who are you telling? I deal with my kids. Crying.
So that 15 and 16, when they're 20s and 30s, it's really going to affect them, especially when they see other people with both of their parents or their parents.
As I mentioned, my fiance has children, and we have joint custody of all his children.
But what I'm saying is that that maybe you want to ask your kids if they want to see their father.
They do. They
do want to see him.
But they want to sit in therapy with him and get things off their chest with him.
All right. Did they tell him that?
Yeah, several occasions.
Okay. Because it's damaging when a child doesn't see the other parent.
It's heartbreaking.
Whether it's the mother or the father, it's extremely damaging. And they'll tell you when they get older, when they get to be, because I was told. So when they get to be an adult, they'll tell you, be like, hey, Dad, blah, 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 blah.
No, they tell me now.
My three adult kids, well, strike that. I think my oldest kid is 34, okay? My youngest is 12, okay? My youngest, I'm a different father than how I was when I was with my 34-year-old. Totally different. When I was with my 34-year-olds, I was in the Marines. I was hard charging, didn't care about nobody or nothing around me. When I was with my 12-year-old, I developed a conscience. I didn't have a conscience when I was with my oldest. But what is damaging is when a parent's bias gets in the way of a child's relationship with the other parent. That's damaging. You might say, well, I'm protecting my kid now, but later on in the future, when they get to be older, they're going to be like, it's like telling the girl at the club, you cock blocked me, Sometimes we just got to back out, get out the way, and let that happen. And that's all I'm saying with that. I understand your point of view, but there's always two sides to a story, and sometimes, and most of the times, the children is the one that pays the price for both of you guys' faults in their raising or upbringing or whatever you call it. Sometimes you just got to get out the way, And I'm just telling you from my personal experience.
No,
I'm sure my experience is much different than yours, but the bottom line is, we as parents need to get out the way of a relationship with our kids with the other parent. When I was going for custody for my other two kids, I got out the way with my last one. And guess what? My daughter came and moved in with me when she was 16, all by herself.
It's amazing, and I'm happy for you.
Sometimes we as parents need to get the fuck out the way of our children's development with their personal relationship with the other parent.
But at the same point, I'm not willing to risk my kid's safety if you can't have the judgment not to let minors drink in your presence and he's catching DUIs. He just caught one 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago. So why would I allow him to drive with my children?
Maybe supervised visits is the way to go.
He fucked that up. He had Donna's house. He couldn't do that right.
Donna's house is
it was a stepping stone from him coming out of
house,
prison.
and I know Donna's house. Donna's house is not the environment you want to go hang out with your kids.
Okay, so let me
I'd rather go to a McDonald's.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Do you think
Donna's
it would be a good idea if I said, hey, Oliver, why don't you take your kids out to Applebee's? Mm-hmm. I don't feel safe leaving my children, so I'll sit in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. Just you and your daughters. Mm-hmm. Have dinner. Not your wife, not your stepkids, whatever the hell you got on your other family now. Just you and your daughters. Sit and have dinner. Just you three. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's something honorable I should do?
Yeah, I think so. And you have a lot of anger in you, Nichol.
Well, let me look at you. Let me look at you in the face.
I could tell. I could feel that anger coming across the table.
Let me look at you in the face right now and tell you, I told him that over 10 times.
He wouldn't do it.
Why should I go pay for them to have dinner? I pay child support. Go to the park. Take them to the park. Yeah. I'm taking my wife. The kids don't want to be around your wife. They want to be with you. They want to get to know you first. Yeah. Take an hour. Get to know your children.
Yeah. I see your point.
I try. And
the fact that he's paying child support, that doesn't mean he can't take them out to dinner. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I mean, hey, save your pennies, pay your court fees, do what you got to do. That's not my business. It doesn't rage me because I feel like I've tried every avenue. Here, you want to write to them? Write them letters. Start getting to know them.
But please, if you don't leave with anything, leave with this. The kids are the ones that suffer between parents' bullshit. It's always the kids that suffer. They might not tell you now, they might not tell you tomorrow, but believe me, they're at age. They remember shit. When they're in their 20s and their 30s, they're gonna tell you how you fucked up. And I've heard it.
Oh, how I fucked up?
I've heard it from my own.
How I fucked up?
No, the kids are gonna tell you.
On how
parents generalize.
Oh no, it's a fucked up situation. Right. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I don't have to wait till they're 20. I deal with my kids crying now.
Right.
My daughter had a phenomenal birthday party. Right. And then she's laying in bed crying, wanting to know why her father didn't call her.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he send her a birthday card?
And that's traumatic.
So I don't need to wait till they're 20. I deal with it now.
Right.
But you know what? I don't bash this guy. Okay. I tell the kids, hey, you know what? He may be going through something. Go to your therapist. Let's get together with him. Talk to him. He fucks that up.
Okay. And I'm not taking no sides one way or another. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. And I'm basing a lot of this off of my own personal experience.
It is heartbreaking.
It is.
I have 2 teenage daughters. The guy lives 4 minutes down the street. You could have dropped her off a fucking birthday card.
That's true.
But you can't.
That's true.
Why?
Maybe he can't afford it. I don't know.
I mean, hey, with those kind of court fees, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, he probably can't afford it. He's probably tight for money.
Whatever it is, guess what? It don't cost nothing to call him.
That's true.
It don't cost but your time and love to send a text message.
So, Nichol, I love your energy.
I'm hot.
You are hot. You're hot.
I'm hot because
I don't know how Angel handled you.
It's not fair. It's not fair to my children. And my children, when I seen this,
I understand.
It infuriates me because
I understand.
My children seen this segment.
Yeah. Oh, they saw the show.
They heard me talking to my mother about it, and they said, "Mom, what's going on?" I've sheltered them kids.
Yeah.
I said, "You want to see that? Let us see it. You want to see it when the time's right." Mm-hmm. Mom, this is about us. Let us see it. Mm-hmm. They were pissed. He just seen us, Mom. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Right.
So don't give me your bullshit. Poor me. I minister. I do this. I do that. Well, player, you got how many hours community service?
Yeah.
Are you paying your debt to society or are you doing it from your heart?
Your kids should always be first.
Oh, my kids will never come behind anybody. Okay. And one of the biggest statements, the mistake Oliver could ever told my daughters was that his wife comes before his children.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
It's the Lord, his wife, and then everything else. And my daughter says, Mom, Why am I everything else?
I tell my baby's mothers, all of them, if there was a fire in the house, I'm grabbing my kids. I'm starting with the youngest first. And whatever number you're on,
you can believe in the Lord.
The house is not
you can believe in the Lord. I'm a good Christian woman.
Yeah.
I don't need to broadcast it to everybody. I believe in where I believe in. I pray the way I pray.
And you don't have to go to church to be a Christian.
You don't, or a good Christian,
or to pray for that matter.
But to tell, and if you feel that way, that you're supposed to put the Lord, then your wife, if that's what you believe it. How dare you tell my daughters that, and make my daughters feel less than her? You've known her how many years? You were there when those kids came into this world. How dare you tell my children that?
They say the temple of the Lord is not made with bricks and sticks, but the temple of the Lord is within. That means we all carry it. We don't need to go to a foundation to go pray.
No,
we could pray
absolutely not.
Anywhere at any time. They do it in Saudi Arabia. As soon as that clock strikes,
and
they park and they put the mat out and they get out of their car and they go pray.
And I'm nobody to say how you pray, what he believes in. I'm nobody to say that.
Right.
But what I strongly disagree with, there ain't a damn person in this world that will come before my daughters.
Amen to that.
And I will never, ever in my life
let my children. Those are the only two you have is.
That's all. I have two daughters that I gave birth to, and I have 5 children in my life now that Angel brought into my life.
Okay.
And I love them like they're my own. When him and his ex are going in it, it's like, hey, hold on, let's figure this out, because we all need to get along.
Right.
You could be pissed, he could be pissed. We're all gonna raise these kids together. Ain't nobody going nowhere.
Well, I want to say, Jim, do you have anything?
No.
He probably thinks I'm crazy.
Jim is like, I'm staying out of this shit.
No, here's the reason why is because Steve has. I'm really cautious about. I wouldn't unless something came out in this segment that I was like, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. But I don't have kids, right? So I'm really cautious about that. I'm not gonna give advice
on parenting when you're not
parenting when I'm not a parent. I just won't do it.
Tell that to those candidates that run for family court.
Yeah,
judge.
so I'm really big on that, and it's just like what I tell other people too with veterans. Like, Steve can make fun of my brother Steve for being in the Air Force. He can make fun of Steve for being a Marine. They can do that all day long.
Because they've both been there.
Right. I didn't serve, so therefore, like...
You say it, you're an asshole.
Right. Yeah, I don't care who you... What
it's like a black person calling another black person the N-word, but as soon as a white person say, oh, hell, right. Blast them.
You know, and that is very true. And there's been, like I said a couple of times, I'm raising teenagers with daddy issues. Gotcha. So be it. You know, and there's been times where I'm like, hey, dude, check it out. This is what I'm going through. Like, let's just put everything aside. This is what I'm going through. And he says, well, you know, Nichol, I've mentored a lot of kids, and it starts with the parents. You must be doing something wrong.
Well, that's not fair to you.
Hey, well, you can go fuck yourself, because mentoring kids and raising kids are two different things.
Absolutely.
So I'm coming to you trying to, and you're going to flip it on me. Yeah. I'm already a basket case with emotions because they're teenagers.
Mentoring kids and raising kids are absolutely
two different things. And you've never done it. So you got with your wife, you got 3 new children. That's great. They're damn near your age.
Especially when they're your kids.
Yeah.
Because that's my gene. That's my DNA. That's part of me. And some people say that, you know, I love my foster kids like they were my own. I'm like, do you have your own? And they're like, no. I said, you
don't know that love.
When you have your own, your life is nothing. Their life.
Their life is yours. It's everything.
So it's a big, big, big difference.
It's humongous, and I think that is what just really. That's great. You help raise your wife's kids. That's great. Yeah. They're all teenagers.
Yeah. Nichol, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me. And
thank you for, after, he came on and said what he said, and now you want to come on and voice your opinion. And we're happy that we were able to give you a platform to do that. But I'd like you to look in the camera, and if you had to say something to your child's, the father of your child, Oliver Bueno, what would you say? Camera.
I would say, I'm pretty sure you're watching this, Oliver, and if you want a relationship with your daughters, you need to try harder and be honest about what you want with your children. The therapy session was a perfect way, and you threw it all down the drain for no reason. So until you want to see your children, keep our names out of your mouth. This is the only time I've spoke up in public, and this will be the last time that I speak up in public. I do not believe my children's business needs to be on social media, anywhere else that you speak. I don't do it, and I'm asking you to respect my children's privacy. Until you're ready to be a father, live your life. If you want to wait till they're 18, see them when they're 18.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Folks, thank you so much, Nichol.
Thank you.
Folks, that's Nichol Zamora, and she came on to set the record straight with allegations that was said on her past show, and we're giving her the opportunity to do that. This is Steve Sampson, Jim Jones for Veterans in Politics. Until next time.